Hey, certainly. Good afternoon and evening, Northeast Ohio. Thank you so much for choosing What's New on this Tuesday. It is beautiful. The temperatures are in the 50s.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
What winter storm?
Yeah.
Well,
this would be called the calm before the storm.
That is exactly it. All good stories start with, a soft open, and this is where we're at. This is the calm before the storm.
At least we have this to take advantage of.
Got the clouds.
We're actually going to have more on Pfizer asking for that emergency use authorization for kids under 5 in just a minute. But first, we definitely have to begin with the weather that is coming. We begin at 5 with team coverage on the impending winter storm that had much of the Midwest and Northeast Ohio squarely in its crosshairs. It's coming.
It is.
Betsy assures me of that. Brandon Simmons talked with road crews on how they're preparing. Emma Henderson did a supply check today at local stores, and our chief meteorologist Betsy Kling and Peyton Domschke have the latest developments on the storm's track. So Bets, take it away.
Stay put, guys. We got things to talk about, most certainly. Let's get this desk out of here, everybody, because we're going to give you a little update on what's the same and what's new. What's the same? We have a significant storm coming. You already knew that. That has not changed. The accumulations depend on the storm track. That has not changed. It's all about the storm track. Anything liquid left Thursday and Friday, meaning slush or water, will freeze solid by the time we hit Friday. So let's talk about what's new, hopefully, if this is going to work for me. Winter storm warnings have been issued for the lakeshore counties and points west. We have a track shift that has taken place a little bit farther to the south. That basically means we are looking at more widespread heavy snow, less freezing rain. Yes, that is a good thing. But the bad news is we have more widespread heavy snow. We are still looking at very high impacts on the roads, on the air travel, on school closings, especially Thursday, most likely also for Friday, and power outages still expected to be an issue. Most of that because of the weight of the snow coming down in some of the areas, especially along the lakeshore. Winter storm warning has been posted. Lake, Cuyahoga, Lorain, Erie, Huron counties, and points west. Meanwhile, we still have a winter storm watch farther south. We will have updates to this too. They will start to kind of add more counties into the warning, and I think an advisory. It still starts Wednesday with rain. We have rain tomorrow, and we still have blocked drains. Even with temperatures in the 50s and sunshine, we will have some road problems, especially remember that liquid is going to be freezing once we get into Thursday and then Friday. So rain Wednesday. The rain to snow changeover takes place Wednesday night. Continuing snow Thursday, heavy at times, and there may be a little bit of mix, especially farther south, but then it's all out of here on Friday. Here's your hour by hour. Just want to show you when this rain is expected to move in through the day tomorrow. Then the changeover takes place northwest to southeast after dinner here in our area. By the time we get into Thursday morning, the snow has now stretched clear down to the US 30 corridor with just a little bit of freezing rain possible in Tuscarawas and Carroll counties. But we're just going to continue with snow as we go through the day on Thursday, and it will be adding up. Here is a look at the zones that we showed you yesterday. All snow up along the lakeshore. We still have this area in the pink. This is where we will have snow and sleet mixing in. We'll have a little bit better chance for the freezing rain, sleet, and snow farther to the south. Now, I know everybody wants to know numbers. We have very preliminary numbers. These will be updating. I promise they will be changing, because the storm really hasn't even come into full evolution yet. But 12 to 18 inches is a pretty good possibility far western areas. That would include you, Sandusky, also Norwalk out into the islands, Toledo also. 10 to 15 for the lakeshore counties, down to about 224, 76. Farther south from there, the 5 to 10. That's where that sleet mix comes into play. And again, all of this can shift north and south, and we could raise, we might lower this general snow total, but we are looking at a pretty significant wallop here in Northeast Ohio, especially centered on Thursday, but in that Wednesday to Friday time zone. Jay?
Well, Betsy, obviously the advance notice before the storm hits actually helps road crews and all the staff that are preparing to keep our roads clear. What's to come when it comes to roads and the cleared paths? Brandon Simmons has been working that angle of the story all day, and he joins us now live from Warrensville Heights. Brandon, good evening to you. The big question is, are they ready for what's about to hit us?
That's a really tough question. I mean, the answer is yes and no. Yes, they have all of their staff on hand, and no, because really it's impossible to have enough staff to deal with what we're expecting. Obviously, we're used to ODOT getting ready, pre-treating roads and things like that, but they're not able to do that considering the conditions we're expecting because we're starting with rain, so they can't hit those roads first. And Akron is one of those areas that we were talking about that's going to be worse hit with those mixed conditions. They're expected to get half an inch worth of ice before that snow even hits, and they say that transition from rain to ice is when roads will be most dangerous. Now, across the region, ODOT has been sending those same warnings, and even with 300 plus plows working Northeast Ohio, there's a very good chance that they won't be able to keep up. Instead, they'll just be working to keep all of the roads passable. Now, I spoke to AAA today. They say the number of calls they get are sure to increase as the storm moves in, with people experiencing simple problems like dead batteries and, of course, much worse.
In addition to that, we get a lot of additional calls for people who are in situations where they maybe slid off the road, or if they're stuck somewhere and they need winched out or they need kind of pulled out of a rough situation. Those are the calls that we see a huge jump in.
Now, and the people that are coming to help you will surely be facing the same ugly weather that you may be stuck in. So be sure to leave early, give yourself some extra time before you go. And when you are driving, take your time out there on the roads and leave some extra space between you and the car in front of you. But we all know it's always inevitable that we will see some people who do get into bad situations. They'll slide off the road. We'll, of course, see some accidents. Jay, coming up at 6 o'clock on What Matters Most, will tell you some things that you need to keep in the car. Make sure you have with you to make sure you can stay safe in case it happens to you.
Yeah, always important, but particularly with this storm. Brandon Simmons live tonight. Thanks.
Well, you've probably seen it, and it happens before every big snow. Shoppers flock to the stores to stock up on essentials, and tonight stores are seeing just that. We sent our Emma Henderson out to see what things are like amongst our local shopping crew, and Emma, I have to assume there's a lot of people that have been buzzing in and out of the stores.
That's definitely fair to say, Betsy. It's the typical grab your eggs, milk, and bread trip that we're seeing right now. People getting those essentials. The Clevelanders who know the drill are preparing here at Mark's. Now, besides food staples, road salt and ice melt are also flying off the shelves. The store manager said they did a restock already today, and by the time I got here, there was hardly any left. Now, there were lots of employees busy stocking shelves with other things. Some regulars said it's definitely more crowded than they normally see, but many agreed that as long as the power stays on, they aren't too worried about the weather.
I try to prep for 2 meals, like make sure, because probably going to be snowed in Thursday and Friday. So just the basics, milk, eggs, bread, and then 2 meals.
Now, she's also anticipating a snow day or two for her little ones, so she told me that activities she can find to keep them busy are worth it. Now, everyone I spoke to seemed to have the important winter basics, the warm clothes. They already bought their shovels. Some of them even were pretty well stocked up because of that storm that we had just a few weeks ago. Betsy?
That's the thing. I mean, it's not like we're going to be snowed in our houses for weeks on end, everybody. It's just going to last through Saturday. You'll be able to get out again, but we just want to make sure you have what you need for that Wednesday to Friday time frame. All right, Emma, thank you so much. And I do want to remind everybody the weather team is working around the clock, keeping an eye on this storm. We got Matt and Holly in the morning, Peyton, Jason, and I in the afternoon and evenings. And we're continuing our digital coverage as we continually update our blog that's on the WKYC app and online. There we have the latest radar and forecasts. We have pictures, all kinds of good stuff. So check it out.
Well, Betsy, now on to some breaking news. The youngest members of our community could soon be receiving a vaccine against COVID-19. Late this afternoon, Pfizer asked the FDA for emergency use authorization for their vaccine for young children. Isabel Lawrence spoke with experts in our area about what this means for families if the authorization is indeed granted.
It's an absolute no-brainer that every kid should get this vaccine.
Pfizer has filed for emergency use authorization for a 2-dose regimen of their vaccine in kids 6 months to 5 years old, with testing continuing for 3 doses. A move doctors hope could be the final blow against COVID.
We need everybody to be vaccinated. We need everybody to be protected. And so long as this population, like under the age of 5, that aren't protected because they don't have a vaccine, this pandemic is going to persist.
The shot could provide peace of mind to parents with fewer options to protect their little ones.
We've been very frustrated by other parents' push to get everything back to normal because our kids aren't protected.
And though the virus often doesn't impact our youngest as severely as it does adults, it still poses a risk.
This resilience that the children had against the virus doesn't really hold up as much with the Omicron strain. And so it is very important that we try to protect them more so now than where we were a year ago.
For families who aren't so sure, the experts emphasize we can trust the vaccine.
And 2 years into this now, we know this vaccine is safe, effective, and is probably going to be our way out of it.
And while mask wearing and social distancing are still crucial tools,
getting that vaccine is the absolute most important thing you can do.
Now, Dr. Amy Edwards says this is turning out to be the most studied vaccine in history and said that her own 3-year-old will be first in line for the shot. But Jay, yesterday I did speak with the Cuyahoga County Health Commissioner. He told me that only 23% of kids 5 through 11 have been vaccinated against COVID. So we can see there's definitely some more work to be done here.
Yeah, obviously age group 18 and under has been much more cautious, and that's because the parents are also involved in those decision making. Isabel Oritz live on What's New. Isabel, thank you.
Coming up for us, everybody, Olympic unveiling, the significance behind the design of the Winter Olympics medals, as we get a sneak peek ahead of Friday's opening ceremony.
And we have a name change alert. We're going to tell you all about the title swap for Machine Gun Kelly's upcoming album. That's straight ahead in Pop Break.
And I think there's probably still a lot of folks out and about, buzzing around, getting ready for the storm. Peyton, how do things shape up for the evening?
You know, things are going to be mild nonetheless. So this is the evening to get out if you have to do any of that last minute prep work. Temperatures themselves going to be in the 40s as well. But we have a big switch up on the way, not only with temperatures taking a dive, but also with that upcoming snow and a little mix. Betsy and I will be back and break it all down for you and give you all the latest and what you need to know.
Welcome back to What's New. We are just 3 days away now from the start of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. And today we're getting a sneak of what the medals will look like. Here they are, the gold, silver, and bronze. There's one large circle composed of 5 smaller rings, the design based on ancient Chinese pendants. The rings, of course, represent Olympic spirit as countries and athletes come together to celebrate the Winter Games, and it all kicks off Friday. You'll watch all the excitement right here on NBC.
Can't help but think that Friday morning is probably going to be a really good day to stay inside.
Well, if everything gets canceled.
And watch the opening ceremony.
There you go.
So we're here for you. That's certainly. Well, Peyton has stepped in today, and man, we have a lot that is on our plate, don't we? And,
we do.
Thankfully, I have another meteorologist that I can bounce ideas off of. Jason's been with me. Holly
and I'm no
Matt,
good for that.
Well, you're the enthusiastic part of it. You're the ooh wow guy.
That's about it.
But Holly and Matt have been doing a great job in the mornings. They'll get you started tomorrow morning. But let's get you caught up with where we are right now. There is the satellite and radar on the big scale. And yesterday we were telling you there's three pieces that are coming together to make this storm. There's the cold air from the north, the big time moisture from the south, and a big kick of energy that's coming in from the west. All of this comes together as we go through the next 24 hours. Interesting to note, yesterday the forecast models were doing one thing because we had three pieces in three different places. Today the forecast models are doing a little bit better at keeping things tighter, a little bit better consensus, because all three of our pieces are not only here in the U.S. but starting to come together. Tomorrow morning is going to be the one to watch because we'll actually have a storm system. We'll see how these three pieces come together, and that should really help us to hone in on our forecasts. It is going to ride right along a boundary, that cold front. This cold front has huge implications on our forecast because that is the changeover from the rain to snow. How far the front makes it through the area will determine who gets what and how much of what. But out ahead of that, we've got this beautiful day today, 40s, 50s. But then I have to show you the fact that we have alerts that stretch over 2,000 miles from the Rio Grande all the way up to New England. And these alerts are not only winter storm watches, but winter storm warnings and advisories as well. We have both. We have a winter storm warning that goes Wednesday night through Friday morning for our lakeshore counties. And then farther south, it's a winter storm watch. Don't be surprised if we start to see more counties lining up in pink, simply because we're starting to get into a better time frame and we're really starting to nail down the details. At least the National Weather Service is going to be doing that. We don't issue the watches and alerts, but they will really kind of let you know, and we'll let you know their messaging as we head through the night. So rain is the way things are going to start, and that's a concern. We've got melting taking place today. The drains are still blocked in most cases, and so now you're going to throw a little bit of rain on that. I'm not worried about rivers. What I'm worried about is road and street flooding, your property, all that standing water that's going to be hanging around as we get into our changeover time. And that looks to take place in the late evening and the overnight. The pink line is the delineation between where we have the rain, we get into some sleet, and then it's all snow farther to the north. And once that cold front comes in, and that's what the changeover is based on, as that cold front comes in, look at the temperature drop that accompanies it. So we are going to see a pretty rapid freeze up here. This is also going to contribute to the fluff factor. I can't stress enough how snow types, we are literally trying to forecast snow crystal types to help nail down these exact accumulation numbers. The snow crystals will be heaviest, wettest, densest, and probably a little sleety farther south. Meanwhile, west, it'll be nice and fluffy. So by 7 a.m. Thursday, we are all snow with the exception of southern portions of Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, where we're likely to have a little bit of that ice going on, the freezing rain, and some sleet. So very heavy snow along the lakeshore areas. And again, farther west, that's where the highest fluff factor is. That's why they have the higher snow accumulations out toward Toledo. But just this ice mix and snow, that's kind of a wide variety of accumulation potential here. So give us a little bit of breathing room. We're going to try and do that for you. But right now we're looking at 10 to 15 inches of snow for Cleveland down to Akron. That would include northern sections of Richland County, Shelby on up into the Norwalk area. Sandusky and over to Toledo, that's where we could get higher numbers, over 15 inches. We could. Still watching to see how that's going to evolve. But this 5 to 10 is going to be a little bit heavier on the north end, a little bit less on the south end, and all of these numbers are going to start to shift around as we see this storm really start to line up. So I can't stress enough, it's all about the impacts, not the numbers. This will be a high impact storm. Very high impacts on the roads, for air travel, for your school closings. Yeah, Thursday, maybe Friday too. Good chance. And then the power outage as well. But you have a chance to get ready for it. And Peyton has more on that.
Yeah, and you were just talking about breathing room. The idea of having the breathing room for a final prep, well, that is going to happen this evening. So if you have the ability to get out, maybe head to the grocery store, maybe kind of tidy up around the house when it comes to moving that pile of snow that's been there for about a week on end, this is the night to do so. We're in for a few messy days, not only from tomorrow, but this takes us all the way through Friday. And then beyond that, we are in for another Arctic blast to come. So what stays in the way of not only just the wet slush kind of activity is going to freeze once again. So I'm going to take you through just our Union Home Mortgage extended forecast here really quickly, because this drives the point home also here. 39 for your Wednesday, 27 though for Thursday, and temperatures falling sharply into Friday. We're only going to be back in the upper teens, and then we hang in the low 20s for the beginning half of the weekend here. And things get a little easier as we kind of breathe into next week together as well. But once again, Jay, this is something that we deal with time and time again. This is not going to be necessarily the biggest event, and we will get through it, of course, together.
Well, it is February now, and we are in Northeast Ohio. So, yeah, we're tough. We're used to this kind of thing. Peyton, thank you very much. Ahead in your pop break, a new adventure for Ellen DeGeneres as her talk show winds down. We're going to tell you what's new in her career. That's next in Pop Break.
Matt, did you look at our topics today? We have a lot of things going on. Do you recognize them? MGK and matching tattoos. Ellen DeGeneres is saving gorillas. And Nick Cannon is having his 8th baby. Yeah. So he...
Well, that music means it's time to catch up on the world of entertainment. We always trust Kiara Cotton to do that for us, and she's here now with our Tuesday Pop Break.
Key, what is going on with our guy MGK?
Hi, Jay and Betsy. Well, he is certainly living up to his wild boy reputation. Just 6 months after getting matching tattoos with his partner in crime, Travis Barker, the Tickets to My Downfall singer has had a change of heart. The tattoos originally read the name of their upcoming joint album, Born with Horns. But that's no longer the album name. MGK shared a video of his confession to Barker on Instagram yesterday, opening by saying, "Okay, we're friends no matter what, right?" before delivering the news of the album name change. Mainstream Sellout is the new title for his upcoming 6th studio album. There's no word yet on when it will be released. And while Ellen DeGeneres' talk show may be ending, her work with gorilla conservation is just beginning. The Ellen campus of the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund officially opened today in Rwanda. In a press release, Ellen called Fossey one of her heroes, saying that doing her part to protect endangered gorillas and continue Diane's legacy is simply amazing. The fund is the world's largest and longest-running organization dedicated entirely to gorilla conservation. And last but not least, congratulations are in order again for entertainment mogul Nick Cannon. The 41-year-old announced on his talk show yesterday that he's expecting his 8th child with real estate agent and model Bree Ticey. On the show, he discussed being excited about his new addition, but also struggling on how to share the news following the untimely death of his son Vin last month. Nick and Bree will welcome a baby boy later this year. And Wordle, the popular online word game, has been bought by the New York Times. The game reportedly sold for low 7 figures. Wordle was first released back in October and has millions of daily users. Jay and Betsy, are you guys in on this action?
I am, yeah. I got hooked on it because I think Stephanie did a segment on the game here.
Yeah.
Or was it Lena? Okay, yeah, Lena. One day when I was with Lena. And it's addictive. And it was a smart buy by the New York Times because they get a lot of value out of it. So just think, 4 months ago, this did not exist.
Yep.
And now the inventor is a millionaire.
I just hope they don't start charging us for it, you know?
Well, that was my fear when I read the story, and I bet you that's coming. Pay for content. It usually happens.
Thanks, Kira.
Sure thing.
I wonder if anybody told MGK that tattoo ink is permanent ink.
I'm thinking they probably know that, but boy, oh boy, how do you
Yeah.
fix that one? All right, well, ahead at 5:30, big splash. We'll tell you who's making a surprise bid for the company that owns Cedar Point.
Yeah, this is big news. And we'll have a live taste test right here on What's New. A new frozen treat hits the scene in Northeast Ohio, and it's inspired by our very own Betsy Kling. This is just in time for the big storm, and I'm going to give everybody a hint. There is an ingredient in there that makes this a can't miss.
I heart it very much. All right, legally speaking, if you have student loans, you are going to want to stay tuned for this. Our Stephanie Haney is breaking down a huge settlement with a national company, and some Ohioans will be getting payouts, either or maybe even canceling their loans. Wow.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Pfizer has asked the FDA for emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine for kids ages 6 months to 5 years. Pfizer said last month it was testing out a third dose of its vaccine for that age group. This after learning its 2-dose regimen did not generate enough of an immune response. If it gets authorized, shots would start being administered by the end of this month.
Road crews are preparing for what's to come this week. And in Akron, where they could get a mix of snow and ice, the preps are well underway. They say that transition from rain to ice is when roads will be dangerous. And across the region, ODOT has been sending out the same warnings. Even 300 plus snowplows expected to work around Northeast Ohio. There's a very good chance that they won't be able to keep up. As a matter of fact, in some cases, I'm guaranteeing you that they won't be able to keep up. So the whole hope here is just to keep roads passable at the height of the storm.
SeaWorld is making a big splash today in the financial sector. This after apparently offering to buy Cedar Fair. That's, of course, the owner of Cedar Point. CNBC says the deal is reportedly worth $3.4 billion. Cedar Fair is apparently reviewing this offer. The company operates 13 parks, including Cedar Point. It should be pointed out that Six Flags offered Cedar Fair $4 billion for the company and all its parks back in 2019, an offer Cedar Fair rejected. And with that, we welcome you to the second half hour of What's New, along with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford, of course, growing up in Cedar Point, or in Sandusky, right near Cedar Point. I've always followed the history of the park very closely. It'll be interesting to see what the company decides to do here. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of rebranding, too. I mean, think of all of the layers of branding that's going to take.
Yeah, we watched the Indians flip to the Guardians.
Yeah.
And all the signage and all that. Now imagine 13 parks.
Yeah.
Could get interesting.
And now, probably not the time that everybody's thinking of Cedar Point because we have this big old storm coming.
No. Bets, yesterday, everyone really liked your impact index for the storm.
I have an update on it.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So if you watched that yesterday and you remember the word that Betsy used for this coming storm, it's pretty interesting. And
somebody got very crafty. You'll be impressed.
They did indeed.
Let's get to these details of this winter storm warning. We have winter storm warnings now posted for the lakeshore areas and west, basically Lake Cuyahoga, Lorain, Erie, Huron counties, and that will go Wednesday night through Friday morning. Then farther out to the east, we still have this winter storm watch. Now the watch basically means we are still in wait and see mode. The warning means it's a coming. So we have kind of a slam dunk of heavy snow in the warning area. Can't stress enough, the rain on Wednesday will be problematic. It's going to cause a lot of standing water because a lot of the drains are blocked. All that standing water and the slush that it creates will be freezing solid by the time we hit Thursday night. Doesn't that sound like a peach? Then the changeover from the rain to the snow happens Wednesday night. We will have snow all day Thursday, and then finally it begins to move out on Friday. So the impacts will be widespread, and it will hit hard. We're going to go south first here. We'll kind of zone in on some of these localized impacts. Calling our southern counties, Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, we've kind of focused a little bit more here. Freezing rain a possibility in these areas. That will change to a slick of snow on top of it by the time Thursday ends. Total accumulations anywhere from 2 to maybe upwards of 6 inches. I think on the low end of things for southern areas, we could be in the upper end of things on the northern fringes of our counties here. Into the central zone here, so that's Richland, Ashland, Wayne, Holmes County, Stark County, Summit County, Portage, and Trumbull counties too. Now we've added Holmes County and Stark County into this zone. I'm calling it the transition zone because this is the area where we will have heavy snow and we will have a sleet snow mix. So that makes things a little bit tricky as far as the accumulations. This area, generally speaking, 5 to 10 inches of accumulation, but it's the icy mix. When that accumulation starts to go, when it starts in the early morning on Thursday, that will determine ultimately the total at the end. And then farther north, right along the lakeshore and especially western areas, this is the snow zone. We'll go from rain to snow Wednesday night, and it will begin adding up immediately. I think travel will be very difficult in these areas by Thursday morning. So just to put it all together to you and summarize, 10 to 15 close to the lakeshore, 5 to 10 in our transition zone areas, 3 to 6 far south. But don't forget, We've got that rain on Wednesday, and when things freeze up, to me, that is the game changer with this whole storm, is the ice possibilities by the time we get into Friday. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just skip that. Here we go. There it is. The Betsy Impact Index. Jay, this is what you were just talking about. And we are right up into pretty significant territory at this point. I'm thinking 8 or 9. And again, that is because of the ice that is coming in and going to be a problem for many areas.
Well, so the dam, yes. Which is where we are, and that gets your attention. You know, when I hear a meteorologist say that,
you don't hear meteorologists say that.
You hear this meteorologist say that. So yesterday, when Betsy unveiled this, there was a local ice cream shop that saw it and said, you know what? That inspires a new flavor of ice cream. So, Betsy, because you went code red, damn, we now have for you Damn ice cream.
By Pav's
Creamery in Cuyahoga Falls created a limited time only flavor. Probably when the storm is gone, so is the flavor, right? I would guess.
I don't know.
So when I heard what was in this, I said there's a 0% chance I won't love this. So it's vanilla ice cream, but here's the best part. It has blended inside of it. Do you know those Hostess snow treats?
Do I know
snowballs?
them? These were like the best ever lunch treat Mom would pack, like because they were expensive, so we didn't get them very much, and we never got them because they were like mega sugar and awesome.
Yeah, and they create a lot of cavities. But as adults, we can make those decisions now on our own. And I'm deciding I'll just brush my teeth 3 times, but this is going to happen.
This is amazing.
So Dairy Queen has Blizzard. And Pav's has Damn. The only thing is, there's some question as to how Damn is spelled. You have it D-A-Y-U-M.
Yeah.
They went with D-A-Y-A-M. I'm not sure how that happened.
It's good no matter which way you.
Is there a universally accepted way to spell that word?
Not the way I have it spelled either. There's Pav's. Sorry, as we are inhaling this.
Wow.
I am going to crush this pint. Pav's is down in, you can get it through Saturday, we have just found out. Look, this is how they make it. And they do have green and areas down around the Akron area. I think there's like 4 or 5 different little outlets down there.
Well, it's just delicious.
It is so good. Well done. Thank you.
I will enjoy the rest of that pint. Is that a pint? I think that's what that is. Okay, it's official, kids. The greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, has confirmed the reports that surfaced over the weekend that he is calling it a career. For anyone still not ready to concede that Brady is the undisputed greatest football player of all time, I offered these numbers. Brady played 22 seasons. Almost half of them ended in the Super Bowl. 9 times he took his team to the Super Bowl. 7 times he won it. And 5 times he was the game's most valuable player. Only once in Tom's career did he fail to take his team to the playoffs. He leaves the game at 44 years old. But just as impressive as his entire body of work, Betsy, is what he did after 40. Tom Brady has played in 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls. He's won 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely insane. I said 9 Super Bowls. He actually lost twice to the Giants and once to the Eagles. He played in 10 Super Bowls. I have a picture, Betsy. I want you to look at this picture because it really is jarring. This is Tom Brady at the 1999 NFL Draft Combine. That's what he looked like coming out of Michigan. He was the 199th player drafted in 2000. I bring that up because that means every team
who'd the Browns draft that year?
They took 5 guys before Brady was drafted. Every team in the NFL had the opportunity to draft Tom Brady 5 times, and they all said, we're good. He leaves the game as the most decorated and, I believe, the undisputed best player ever to do it. It's just a lesson in life. The professionals that make their money from evaluating talent in the NFL they just said, no, he's not our guy. So don't let someone tell you no. Tom put his nose to the grindstone and through hard work became the greatest to ever do it. You can do it if you put your mind to it.
Wow. That is a very good message.
It's insane.
Remember that one for your kids. Still ahead, everybody. February is Black History Month, and we're spotlighting some Ohioans who made a big impact and broke barriers. Our Leon Bibb will introduce us to John Mercer Langston in just a few minutes.
I'm not kidding. This was one of the best things I've ever tasted.
Here we go again.
I've said that about 5 times on the show. Then some student loan lenders, or borrowers rather, will get their debts canceled. This is big news. Our 3 News legal analyst, Stephanie Haney, is going to break it all down, tell you about the settlement here in Ohio and what it means for you. That's coming up in Legally Speaking.
Peyton does not know what Hostess snowballs are. Are you kidding me?
No.
It's deliciousness is what it is. We got to get you some in honor of the storm. See?
Okay.
So it's like cake and marshmallow.
Are you gonna
and
throw them
I
at
think
me?
there's some coconut. It's so good. Like legit deliciousness. All right, here's the picture, everybody. We got a lot to talk about, as you already know. We have more details coming into focus. There's still a lot of changes, and a lot of the changes are going to be based off of just the general storm evolution. There's a couple phases to this, all right? So first phase is the fact that we have a cold front coming in. That cold front is going to mean the change from rain to snow. The second phase is the part that kind of sneaks in here as we get into the day on Thursday and locks the snow in. That's the energy that's coming from the south. So first thing is rain, changing to snow. That's Wednesday to Thursday morning. Then we have another big push of energy and moisture coming through the day on Thursday. And then ultimately everything gets out of here by the time we hit Friday. So the cold air is the driver right now, and that will determine how far south the cold front goes. If it goes all the way south, all the way to Columbus, we are all snow. We're not quite sure that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I think it might get caught, hung up here in northeast Ohio, maybe down toward Tuscarawas County. But in the meantime, we get this nice little bonus of all this heat All the warnings are stacked up now from border to border, from Mexican border all the way up through the Canadian border, with over 2,000 miles of various alerts, including our winter storm warnings for our northwestern counties and the winter storm watch that continues farther to the south. We are talking about snow, and it's going to be rain to start, rain to snow changeover Wednesday night, and then the snow continues Thursday. And the heaviest snow amounts are going to be up here close to the lakeshore areas. We've got the ice mix and the snow, and this will be a sleet and snow mix that sets up for Canton and Worcester down into Millersburg. New Philadelphia and Carrollton, you're right on the border. I think you're going to get all three. I think you're going to end up with a little bit of freezing rain, maybe a glazing of freezing rain, and then sleet snow mix on top. So it's certainly not going to be a picnic because you have that ice threat, but we have a lot more snow that we're anticipating closer to the lakeshore, that 10 to 15 swath here, 5 to 10 for that ice mix transition zone, 3 to 6 farther south, and that's on top of that freezing rain. But it looks like the winters are going to be in northwest Ohio with the high amounts there. Can't stress enough, very high impacts, roads, air travel, school closings, both Thursday and Friday. I think Thursday's a slam dunk. I think Friday's pretty likely. And then we have that possibility of some power outages too. I'm going to go real quick through these notes through myself because it does start with rain. We have the block drains. Change to snow will take place Wednesday night and early Thursday. That is going to determine who deals with what by Thursday morning. And this snow is going to weigh a lot, especially at the start. Big water content. Watch out if you're going to be shoveling. The sleet mix farther south is still a big question mark. The freezing rain threat is less. That's good. But anything wet and slushy will freeze solid by Friday. Whew, a lot going on, isn't it? But in the meantime, it's nice outside.
We are in for a doozy, though, as we look toward the next couple of days. But today itself and this evening is that final prep window. So if you have to get out and maybe head to the grocery store, this is the time to do so. Maybe top off your gas tank as well. Not a bad idea there. Messy few days. You obviously heard Betsy just hit on it, but we have past the mess another Arctic blast. So that's going to come in the way of Friday and Saturday. Temperatures back in the upper teens, right around 20. So just driving the point home again, you can see we start off even tonight still holding on to the 40s, the upper 30s for a while. Then the rain starts, a little mixing action here. So most of us will see a mix. It just depends on where that sets up and who sees it the longest. And our bet there is those spots a little bit farther south. But the snow moves in. This is Thursday by noon, sticks around widespread all the way through about early Friday morning before this thing really starts to tug away, which is the better news for the weekend ahead. Once again, it's going to be an ordeal for Thursday, but then temperatures drop for Friday. Snow looks to exit, and then by Saturday, we hang right around 20 degrees. Next week doesn't look too bad, so we'll be digging ourselves out for a little bit of time, but a little bit of sunshine goes a long way, and we can see that in the forecast as we head into the later half of the weekend, Jay.
All right, Peyton, thank you.
All right.
Well, throughout the month of February, we're highlighting a piece of Black history with Ohio ties. We kick off the month focusing on politics and the achievements of John Mercer Langston, a man who spent his lifetime breaking down barriers. Here's Leon Bibb.
The son of a Virginia plantation owner and slave mother, John Mercer Langston attended school in Ohio, earning his bachelor's and master's degrees from Oberlin College. In 1855, Langston became township clerk of Brown Helm, Ohio, making him one of the first black men elected to public office. During the Civil War, Langston was responsible for the formation of the 127th Colored Ohio Volunteer Infantry and recruited regiments for the Union Army. After making significant contributions at Howard University and Virginia State University, John Mercer Langston became a U.S. Congressman representing the state of Virginia.
Leon, thank you very much. You can read more about the life and contributions of John Mercer Langston in our Black History section on WKYC.com.
Well, coming up for us, everybody, student loan settlement has a huge impact for some borrowers right here in Ohio. Will you get the money? We'll have more on that and tell you ahead in Legally Speaking.
And classes canceled. This is exciting news. What one school district decided to do the day after Super Bowl 56. It's our Show Us Something Good, and it's coming up.
According to NerdWallet, about 43 million Americans have federal student loans. In all, Americans owe about $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. And now one company has to pay after being accused of squeezing extra money in interest and fees out of the borrowers. Our 3 News legal analyst Stephanie Haney explains what you need to know about the Navient student loan settlement in today's Legally Speaking.
If you have student loans through Navient, listen up because they could be going away. Legally speaking, this is happening because Navient has been accused of unfair and deceptive practices when it comes to servicing student loans. 39 states plus Washington, D.C. say the company convinced people with federal student loans to choose repayment options that ended up costing them a lot more money in the long run, and allowed students at for-profit schools to take out risky private loans that they were never going to be able to repay. Navient, which is one of the country's largest student loan providers, didn't admit to any of this, but has agreed to pay out a lot of money and cancel a lot of this debt to avoid going to court. People with those risky private loans who ended up missing payments will get those loans completely canceled. Off the books, we are talking a total of $1.7 billion in forgiven debt in the U.S. About 82 million of that belongs to around 3,500 Ohioans who are about to get a nice break in the student loan department. If you have federal student loans with Navient, don't expect a big payout, but nationwide, the company will have to fork over about $95 million to 350,000 people. Almost 20,000 of those people are here in Ohio, and people with these loans will get a check for about $260. Courts in every place where Navient was sued need to individually approve these settlement numbers, and in Ohio, a judge signed off on the settlement last week. Now that this is finalized, people who qualify to get their private loans canceled will get a notice by July. Those people don't have to do anything. They know who you are, and they'll reach out to you. And people with federal loans who are getting that $260 check will hear from Navient sometime this spring. The only thing you need to do if you qualify for one of those payments is make sure that your address is up to date with studentaid.gov. This is Stephanie Haney, Legally Speaking for 3 News.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. Super Bowl school. Why some Ohio kids won't have class the day after the big game.
And coming up on What Matters Most at 6, how the travel on the Ohio Turnpike will be impacted by this winter storm. Important information for drivers coming up.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
You just called me, and I'm like, yeah, we're calling all of our viewers.
Shoppers. Hey, Al, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2. Shoppers.
Hello. Mic check. I was told as long as there's a population, thank you.
All right, we wrap it up today with our Show Us Something Good. Super Bowl 56, less than 2 weeks away. Bengals and Rams out in L.A. And if you go to school in Cincinnati and you're part of the Cincy public school system, you have no school the day after the Super Bowl.
Wow.
The district there says students usually don't have class that day because it's considered a professional development day. But because the NFL changed its schedule this year, the days off didn't align. However, the school board's request was approved, and now teachers and staff can stay up late to watch their team in the Super Bowl. And other schools in that area are also canceling classes that day too. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if the Browns ever make it to a Super Bowl, I bet Cleveland public schools will do the same thing.
I hope so, most certainly. By the way, we have an update for you here. Jay has already finished his pint, and it's in the trash. I finished mine.
Delicious.
It's gone, so thank you to Pabs.
We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5. We'll see you then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts now.
Now at 6, the calm before the storm. Don't let that sun and warmth fool you today. A major winter storm is bearing down in Northeast Ohio soon. Live team coverage, plus the chief, Betsy, is here with the latest track and timing. Also, rush through the stores.
Everybody really needs to get out today and tomorrow when it's nice.
Shoppers are wasting no time hitting the stores for food and other winter weather supplies. One step closer.
This is, I hope, one of the last pieces of this puzzle where we can finally say, okay, we can put this behind us.
Promising news in the pandemic